All right, so today we're looking at area of a triangle, and there are actually 3 formulas that we can use for area of a triangle. You've most likely only used one of them up till now, and now we've got 3. Just to make a little note, because we're doing area, remember area is measured in squared units, yeah, in squared units. So what do I mean by that? I mean, like, so when you get your answers, it'll be centimetres squared or kilometres squared, okay? So just be careful with that. All right, so our first formula that we're going to have a look at is one that you're very familiar with. So the area of a triangle can be found by doing half base times height. You just have to be wary that you need to know the actual base of the triangle, and the height is actually in there, so the height there, okay? So they may give it like this, and if you, let's put another example here too. If you have a right angle triangle, say like, so a nice right angle triangle, we can call the one side the base and one side the height, sorry. Okay, so that formula would work if you've got those 2 sides. So if you have these 2 sides in a right angle triangle, you could use the half base times height. All right, so let's have a look at this example. It says define the area of the triangle. So you'd have a look, you've got the base. So you do need to write your formulas, as I said, every time. So we write what formula we're going to use, which I'm just going to write that, half base times height. Then I'll substitute in, the base is 7 and the height is 3. And then you just pop that in on your calculator and you get 10.5. And because it was measured in meters, meters squared. Just make note, your units need to be the same. So units need to be the same. And that's the case for every formula, pretty much. So what I mean by that's meters and that's meters. They both have to be meters. Okay, or whatever, centimeters. Okay, so the second formula for area of a triangle is using the sign button on our calculator. So just remember, when you see this sign, this is under the TRIG button in our calculator. Yeah, we're going to press that. So you can see this is using our triangle, our non-right angle triangle, where we're going to label it up like we normally do. So if you have a look, if they call this angle A in the triangle, then we call the opposite side side A, and then we call the opposite side side B and side C. So that's the same as in our sine and cosine rule. So we can actually find the area if we have 2 sides. So you can see I've been given 2 sides and the angle that's included between those sides, we can use it. And so these 3 formulas are just a combination. So you'll pick one, you know, it depends on your scenario. So because I've got angle A, I'm going to pick that top one. So I've got area equals, I'm going to say half times B times C times sine angle A. Okay? So if I substitute those values in, B is 5, C is 6, and the angle is 135. So you just type this bit out on your calculator. So you just type that in and you'll get your answer, which I got, now it says to 1 decimal place, so I got 10.6, and this was measured in centimeters, so centimeters squared. Okay? So if your triangle's not labeled, just label it and then pick the formula that works for you. Okay? This one was labeled, but if it's not. Okay, and our final formula that we can use is Heron's formula. So Heron's is just the name of the mathematician who worked this one out years ago. And you can see this is the actual formula. So it's when you have, you might want to write when you have all three sides. All three sides of, I'm going to say, a non-right angle triangle. Because if it's right angle, we'll just do the first formula of a non-right angle triangle. Okay, so you can see the actual formula is here. So area of a triangle is here. And you can see it has this S value in there. So obviously it's got the A and the B and the C, and they're the same as like what we've been doing. So if we labelled that angle A, that'll be side A, and that B and C. You can see we got the sides. But it's got this letter S in there. So what you have to do is you first have to calculate what S is. And there's a formula there for S. So you can see here, here's our formula for S. So for this example, it says find the boundary fences of a farm are shown. Find the area of the farm to the nearest square metre. So the first thing I'm going to do is, so first we're going to find S, okay, first. All right, so S's formula is a half times all the other sides added up. So we've got a bracket there, so you must type that into the calculator. So say for our example, you're going to type a half times and then put a bracket, and then you have 6 plus 9 plus 11. So make sure you type it out exactly like that. So you get, and we end up with 13. So we know S is 13 in this case. So if I go to find the area, I'm going to write out the formula, which says square root S. Then you've got S minus A. Okay. So in my example here, I'm just putting times because you're actually timesing in between that. So when we go to do this on our calculator for our example, we get that square root function, which is control, remember, control the square button. You'll see it in blue above the x squared. Okay, so then we do that. Then we're going to write underneath, we'll put 13 times, and we'll open up a bracket, 13 minus A. So if I label this, I'm going to label this up, A, B, C. So this is little a, this is C, and this is little b. It'd be 13 minus 9 times 13 minus, what's b? 11 times 13 minus 6. It doesn't matter how you label your triangle, as long as you follow the system with your labeling. So if you labeled A different, it'll still work. It's okay. So what you want to type in the calculator is exactly that. You just type in all this, and when you type all that in, hopefully you'll end up with, now I got 26.98, but they said to the nearest kilometre, so that means I just round to a whole number, and we get 27 kilometres squared. So there's the farm thing.